Imagine a man who could kill you with a toothpick, or a paperclip, or a coin. Anything he can throw. Now imagine he doesn't hesitate, doesn't feel guilt, and most importantly, he doesn't miss. That's Bullseye. In the Marvel Universe, Bullseye is one of those rare characters who doesn't have a clean single origin story, unlike heroes like Daredevil, who have a clearly defined accident that reshaped their life, or anti heroes like the Punisher, who are driven by a single traumatic loss. Bullseye's history is fragmented, even his name is uncertain. In the most comic versions, he is referred to as Lester. In other continuities, especially the modern adaptations, including the Netflix interpretation of the MCU Daredevil version, he appears as Benjamin Dex Poindexter. These aren't contradictions by accident. They exist because Bullseye was never meant to feel like a grounded human being with one stable identity. He is a constructed myth inside the Marvel Universe. Different names but same result, about a man who never misses. To understand him, you have to strip away the idea that there was a single moment that created him. There wasn't. Instead, what exists is a pattern that repeats across versions of his past. A child who is highly unstable, emotionally disconnected, but extremely precise. From an early age, he shows an abnormal ability to control objects in motion, whether it's throwing, aiming, or reacting. Everything he does has one defining trait: accuracy beyond human expectation. In some versions of his childhood, he grows up in an unstable environment with neglect or abuse. In others, he is simply observed to be psychologically detached from empathy from the beginning. But the consistent detail across all versions is this: he does not relate to consequences the way normal people do. The baseball story is the most repeated piece of his early life. As a young player, he becomes something of a local phenomenon. Every throw lands perfectly, every pitch is controlled, scouts notice him early. He is for a moment on track for a normal future. But this is where Bullseye diverges from someone like Daredevil. Daredevil's abilities push him towards responsibility. Bullseye's abilities push him towards experimentation. At some point during a game, instead of treating baseball as a sport, he begins treating it as a test. He aims at a batter instead of the strike zone, and he hits him cleanly, deliberately. Not out of rage, not out of revenge, but curiosity. That single act became the psychological defining shift in his career because it proves something to him. Precision is not just a skill, it is control over harm itself. From that point forward, Bullseye's development becomes less about trauma and more about escalation. He begins testing boundaries socially and violently. Small acts of manipulation, minor aggression, and situational dominance. Over time, these escalate into lethal behavior. Eventually, he leaves behind anything resembling a normal life and enters the criminal underworld. And here is where his reputation begins to form. Bullseye becomes an assassin, but not just any assassin. He is different from most killers in the Marvel Universe because he does not rely on tools or specialization. He turns anything into a weapon. A coin becomes a projectile, a pen becomes a stabbing tool, a playing card becomes a blade. Where other assassins prepare, Bullseye adapts instantly, because for him the object does not matter, only the trajectory does. This is also where his connection to Daredevil becomes significant. Daredevil represents structure within chaos, a moral code even in violence. Bullseye represents the collapse of structure entirely. Their encounters are not just physical battles, they are philosophical opposites. Bullseye studies Daredevil the way a scientist studies a subject. He learns his habits, his emotional triggers, and especially his moral limits. And then he exploits them, obviously. He does not just try to defeat Daredevil in combat, he attempts to break his decision making process, forcing situations where every choice has emotional cost. This makes Bullseye uniquely dangerous to him because he does not operate on predictable motives. Then there is Punisher. Unlike Daredevil, who tries to save people, Punisher believes in punishment through death. But even here, Bullseye doesn't align with him. Punisher operates on a system of logic. Criminals deserve consequences. Bullseye rejects system entirely. To Punisher, Bullseye is unpredictable chaos, someone who kills without ideology. To Bullseye, Punisher is simply another target who is pretending his violence has meaning. This difference makes their clashes more psychological than ideological. It is order versus randomness. At one point in his timeline, Bullseye is severely injured, his spine damaged to the point of paralysis in certain storylines. For most characters, this would end their arc. For Bullseye, it becomes temporary. Through experimental procedures, his skeletal structure is reinforced, restoring his mobility and enhancing his durability. But more importantly, it removes any physical vulnerability that could slow him down. When he returns, he is not changed morally, he is simply harder to stop. From this point onward, Bullseye's reputation escalates significantly across Marvel stories. He is responsible for assassinations that seem physically impossible, targets eliminated from impossible distances, precision kills executed without direct line of sight, objects ricocheting in controlled sequences to hit multiple targets. He has fought trained fighters, enhanced individuals, and even superhuman opponents, and still managed to survive or win through pure accuracy and adaptability. But that defining feature of all of his feats is consistency. He does not rely on luck, he relies on certainty. If he decides something will hit its target, it does. What makes Bullseye stand out in Marvel's universe is not that he is the strongest or the fastest, it is that he removes uncertainty from violence. Most characters fight with risk, even the most powerful heroes can miss. Bullseye does not operate in that space. For him, there is no almost, only impact. And that is the full arc of Bullseye across Marvel continuity. Not a man shaped by one tragedy, but a villain built from revenge. But a character defined by escalation, starting from perfect control of something small and gradually applying it to human life itself. In a world full of gods, monsters, and super soldiers, Bullseye remains one of the most grounded kinds of terrifying characters imaginable because he doesn't need power, he only needs aim, and he never misses. That's Bullseye for you.